Consumerism has profoundly shaped the American landscape, influencing everything from our economy to our culture and personal finances. This tutorial delves into the history of consumerism and credit in the United States, examines the current financial realities for many American families, and offers insights on how to navigate this complex system for a more secure future. Part 1. A brief history of consumerism. Consumerism, as we know it today, is a relatively modern phenomenon. While people have always exchanged goods and services, the idea of constant acquisition and the societal pressure to consume is a product of industrialization, mass production, and sophisticated marketing techniques that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The shift from a producer-driven economy to a consumer-driven one fundamentally changed how Americans lived, worked, and interacted with wealth. Part 2. Credit prior to 1917. Before the early 20th century, consumer credit was a far different beast. Most transactions were cash-based, and credit was primarily extended by local merchants, doctors, and landlords to trusted customers with established relationships. Large-scale borrowing was largely confined to businesses and agriculture. Installment plans existed for big-ticket items like furniture or sewing machines, but they were not widespread. Banks were primarily for savings and business loans, not for personal consumption. Borrowing for everyday purchases was often seen as a sign of financial distress rather than a convenient tool. Part 3. Credit takes root. After 1920, the Roaring Twenties saw a significant shift in consumer behavior and the availability of credit. Mass production made goods more accessible, and advertising began to create demand. The rise of department stores and automobile manufacturers played a crucial role. Companies like General Motors, recognizing that many Americans couldn't afford a car outright, pioneered the concept of installment credit through their General Motors Acceptance Corporation, GMAC. This allowed consumers to buy now, pay later on a large scale, democratizing access to expensive items and fueling an unprecedented economic boom driven by consumer spending. Personal loans from banks also became more common, though still not as pervasive as they would become. Part 4. Leveraging credit to escape the Great Depression and buy now, pay later. The Great Depression hit consumer spending hard. As people lost jobs and savings, consumption plummeted. To stimulate the economy, the government encouraged borrowing, and credit became a tool to inject life back into commerce. The buy now, pay later model, which originated in the 1920s with cars, saw renewed emphasis and expansion to other goods as a way to allow cash-strapped consumers to purchase necessities and durables, albeit at a cost. This period, ironically, cemented credit as a mechanism not just for convenience, but also for economic recovery. Part 5. World War II. Fuels an economic recovery and post-World War II consumerism. World War II brought about full employment and rationing, leading to significant savings for many Americans. After the war, this pent-up demand and accumulated wealth unleashed an unparalleled era of consumerism. Soldiers returned home, families expanded, and the suburban ideal took hold. The availability of mortgages, often backed by the GI Bill, led to a housing boom. Cars became a necessity, and appliances like refrigerators, washing machines, and televisions transformed daily life. Advertising agencies thrived, promoting a vision of the American dream inextricably linked to material possessions. This was the golden age of American consumerism, built on a foundation of both earned income and increasingly accessible credit. Part 6. The decline into debt, 1970 to present day. While post-war prosperity was undeniable, the seeds of future debt were being sown. From the 1970s onwards, Several factors contributed to a gradual decline into widespread household debt. Stagnant wages for many, rising costs of living, especially housing, education and healthcare, and the aggressive marketing of credit cards played significant roles. Credit cards, which became widely available in the 1970s, offered an unprecedented level of convenience and immediate purchasing power, often without the strict vetting of traditional loans. This made it easier for families to bridge income gaps or fund aspirational lifestyles, leading to a steady accumulation of debt across mortgages, credit cards, and auto loans. The societal norm shifted from saving for purchases to borrowing for them. Part 7. American Families: The Appearance of Financial Security. The modern American family often projects an image of financial security, owning homes, cars, and the latest gadgets. However, this appearance frequently masks a precarious reality. The middle class, in particular, is heavily burdened by debt. What might seem like a comfortable lifestyle is often financed by borrowing, making them vulnerable to economic downturns, job loss, or unexpected expenses. Consider a snapshot of the normal American family's debt load. Average credit card debt per household, $15,799. Average mortgage debt, $149,667. Average student loan debt, $32,559. Average car loan debt, $17,125. These figures illustrate that many families are living paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't earn enough, but because a significant portion of their income is consumed by debt payments. The good news is, this doesn't have to be your future reality. Part 8. Dave's Story: A Path to Financial Freedom. With more than 20 years of experience counseling people on how to manage their money, Dave Ramsey knows what it takes to gain control of your cash. His own journey is a testament to the power of radical change. Dave Ramsey and his wife Sharon experienced firsthand the devastating effects of debt. In their 20s, they rapidly built a real estate empire, becoming millionaires. However, they did so on borrowed money, taking on excessive leverage. When the Tax Reform Act of 1986 changed real estate laws, their banks called in their loans, demanding payment. Unable to pay, they found themselves sued, foreclosed upon, and ultimately bankrupt. This dramatic fall from millionaire status to broke and in debt was a wake-up call. It was during this dark period that Dave and Sharon decided they would never owe money to anyone again. They committed to a debt-free lifestyle, and from that personal experience, Dave began teaching others how to manage their money effectively and achieve financial peace. His story highlights that getting rid of debt and making a fundamental change in financial behavior is possible, no matter how dire the circumstances. Part 9. Learning the language of money and winning with money. Americans are often outsmarted by a system designed to keep them in debt, enriching banks and credit card companies. This system normalizes and even prefers credit and debt, encouraging people to buy things they can't truly afford. However, as the ancient wisdom states, the borrower is slave to the lender. Learning the language of money is key to winning this game. It's like trying to follow a football game without knowing what the referee is talking about. It's confusing, and you're always on the back foot. Financial literacy is critically important. Understanding the language of money will empower you to manage your own finances effectively, leading to true independence. To achieve financial success, there are 3 essential components. Be comfortable with basic math. You don't need to be a mathematician, but understanding simple arithmetic for budgeting, interest, and percentages is crucial. Start learning the language of money. This means understanding terms like interest rates, amortization, compounding, assets, liabilities, investments, and more. Learn how to manage your behavior with money. This is often the hardest part. Our financial decisions are driven more by habits, emotions, and personal beliefs than by pure logic. What does winning with money look like? We can divide financial well-being into 3 levels. Survival. At this level, it's simply income versus bills, with the constant hope that there's enough money to make it to the end of the month. There's little to no savings, and emergencies can be catastrophic. Comfort. At this level, you have a basic understanding of money management. There are still income and bills, but you make a conscious effort to pay yourself first by regularly saving and investing a portion of your income. You have an emergency fund and are making progress towards financial goals. Secure. This is the pinnacle of financial well-being. Instead of saving and investing a small surplus, you arrange your finances in such a way that your accumulated wealth now generates your income. Your money works for you, providing financial freedom and the ability to live without the necessity of working for a paycheck. How you view money matters. The way we view money is unique and largely dependent on our current financial state, past experiences, and personality. We all have strengths and weaknesses and our own money personality. How much money a person has does not always dictate their spending behavior. Many high-income earners are still heavily in debt, while some with modest incomes build significant wealth. Winning with money is 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior. While learning about budgeting, saving, and investing is essential, the 20% knowledge, it's your consistent actions, discipline, and understanding of your own money psychology, the 80% behavior, that truly determine your success. As you develop your knowledge and skills in areas like budgeting and saving, take time to consider your money personality. Think about how your parents and other adults in your life spent and saved. Reflect on your own spending habits, tendencies towards impulse buying, or reluctance to save. Understanding the way you think about money will help you manage your money, overcome behavioral pitfalls, and make good decisions for your financial future.